all right, and we're back. In the last episode, what we did is we made sure that we could cook some meat after we kill the wolves on the fire. In this episode, what we need to do is make sure that we can eat the food that we cook and also make sure that we can use some more of the items that are in our items HUD right now. So let's actually go to our items HUD and let's play around there. Now, we've got rocks. Is there anything that you can use for rocks? We've got a drop for rocks, but can you use them? Not right now. There's no use for rocks. So we'll just leave this one blank. Scrap wood. I don't have a use for that. Stone knife. I don't have a use for that. Now, these weapons, maybe you can equip them here for the use of them. And maybe that's what we'll put in this button. Torches, same thing, equipped. Palm leaves, no use. Hardwood. Let's see. Raw meat, nope, you can't eat that. But cooked meat, you can eat that. So let's click on this button here, and let's make it do something. So on clicked. Oh, nice. This is very nice. So this is organized very well. So what we need to do is we need to use the cooked meat or eat cooked meat. So I'm gonna actually caption this one off and say eat cooked meat. Okay. And all we're going to do from here is we're going to get the third person character. Now, if we don't have a reference to them, we do. So drag off your reference, get third person character. And as this third person character, we're going to drag off eat meat. But we got to make sure it's more than one. So let's get cooked meat. Cooked meat. Then we're going to say greater than or equal to 1. So if they have one piece of cooked meat, they can eat the meat. Ugh. They can eat the food. So drag off your third person character and say eat. I think it's called, let's go to our third person character and check what it's called. Eat food. So drag off of them and call eat food. Now in the food, what we need to do is, actually what we could do is let's go back and tweak our eat food here, event. Now on this event, we could just add an input, I believe. And that could be the food amount. So that's what we're going to do. Instead of using the food amount over here in the third person, we're just going to delete food amount right here. And for the eat food, press input, press plus sign. And it's going to be an integer, a float, sorry, a float. And it's going to be called food amount. And then just plug that one right into there. There. Compile and save. Now, if you look back at it here, it'll have how much is that food? The food amount. So we need a branch first. So put a branch to tie that in. So say that if they have at least one piece of cooked meat, then they can eat food. And the food amount that they'll be able to eat, let's call it like each piece of cooked wolf will be like 20. Now let's look into that. And what happens is they take the hunger and they add the food amount to the hunger. They set the hunger. Then if the max hunger is greater than or equal to, if the hunger is greater than or equal to the max hunger, then it sets the hunger as the max hunger. So it can't go over 100. So that's what's going to happen there. It's going to eat food every time you eat the cooked meat. So I'd say that's a success. All right, last thing you want to do is after they eat the cooked meat, we need to take one from cooked meat. So drag off of here, or we can just take cooked meat that's already out here and say -1. -1, subtract 1, and then set cooked meat. So drag off a third person and set cooked meat to that bet. And since you took one off, what you want to do is you want to do that weight check. Let's make sure we're not doing the weight check twice though. So in eat food, is there a weight check? There's not. So we need to do the weight check here. So just like any time we drop something, you always have to do a current weight function, set the current weight, and then do the weight check. So we're going to do that here too. Third person character, current weight function, and cooked meat goes right where cooked meat should be. All the rest of the stuff you have to fill out. Then we're going to set current weight to that weight here, and then what we have to do is do a weight check. So check weights off your third person character. Check weight. Perfect. Now that way your weight will change every time you eat a piece of meat. So all we got to do now is from the third person just plug in all those other variables here. So rocks and all the other stuff. Okay, now mine is all the way hooked up. Now every time you eat a piece of meat, it's going to change your weight accordingly and set your weight properly. So now we're finished. We win. Now let's make it so that we know that we can do that. So on cooked meat button right here, let's add a text that says eat. There we go. Compile and save. So now we can eat the meat, the cooked meat, the wolf meat. But let's go ahead and enhance this system here. So what happens if we get to a shop? We should be able to sell each of these things too, because they have a worth. So in each one of these, what we're about to do before we end the episode, this is a short one. We're just going to add an extra button to each one of these horizontal bars so that we can also sell the whatever items we have. So on the left hand side, let's just go through. I'm gonna do mine and maybe I'll speed it up. But this button here, all I'm going to do is duplicate it right there. And so now there's a button beside it. So each one of these, just duplicate it. And that way we're setting ourselves up so that we can sell items as well. Now this sell one, we don't have to make it visible at all. And I'll show you that too. So let's go ahead and finish this real quick, and then let's handle some more things. But it doesn't need to say eat here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So this button, it should have text on it that says sell. So we're going to have to do the same thing for the text and the button. Let's put a text on this button, and it's going to say sell. We only want this button and this text to be visible if the third person can sell. So we need to make a variable over here that they can sell. So variable can sell, question mark. And compile and save so we can set it to default. It's going to be off. So they cannot sell. But when it is on, they can sell. So back in our items HUD, for this button here, we need to make the visibility and the text bind it to or visible when they can sell. So for instance, the rocks. If they walk into an area where they can sell some rocks, let's take the button here and go down to visibility, and you need to make a binding. Create binding. Now, this binding, we need to get our third person character. So get that, and drag off and say can sell. If that's true, then this button needs to be visible. If that is false, then this button does not need to be visible. It needs to be hidden. There we go. Compile and save. Now this binding is called get visibility 0. On the right hand side, you can name it and call it hide cell. All right, that way it's going to be easier for us in the future. So all we have to do is click on text now and go down to visibility. Visibility and bind on hide cell, right? Same thing with all these buttons. Just do that same thing. We've created this binding here and we can use it for all of them. So that way it's only going to be visible if we are in the box where we can sell. And before I end the episode, like I'm not going to do all of these right now in front of you, but what I am going to do is I'm going to show you this working. So real quick, let's show you this working. And I'll come back and do mine. But first thing we need to do is make a little actor that says can sell. So in your blueprints folder, right here in the regular actors, make a new blueprint class and we're going to call it an actor and we're going to call it can sell box underscore BP. Inside this actor, we need to add a box collision. Inside this box collision, when the player overlaps it, let's make it visible so we can see it on the map. So uncheck hidden in game. And also when the player overlaps it, so on component overlap, other actor, third person character, we're going to set can sell to true. And when they get outside of that box, so when they end overlap, we're going to set can sell to false. All right, bet. For the viewport, let's take the box itself and take the extents, make it a little bit bigger. And I think that's good. All right, now we can save and test out our new stuff. So let's take our can sell box, put it right here. Let's press play from right here. All right, so if I press I right now, you shouldn't see the selling stuff right there. But if I go into this box, now you can see that I could sell my items. Now, only reason why it's looking like this is because I have to go back and fix the anchors. So if you anchored yours all the way correctly, it should look good. But at least our selling items is working, and that's all that really matters there. So cool, that's where I'm gonna end the episode. Thanks for joining me. I hope you learned something. And in the next episode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue working on some of our systems here to make this gameplay a little bit more interesting. So I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.
Run to the money, on the feet don't fail. The DA and the judge wanna do their best to jail. I done turned it all.